Hi everyone, SK Humour here, and that's my intro music, just me and my voice. I want to talk about some of the mistakes that I made in the past. If one day I disappear from this world, what I want to leave, something that I have learned. Some of the mistake I have made was subscribing to the wrong belief. I believe in the literal fundamental Bible, as in interpreting everything as it is, and I find that it's impossible to live biblically without getting a mental illness. See, like if you do anything, you have filter yourself, confess every sins, even if that sin is just a biological, evolutionary feature for humans to help them survive. I can't have that. I can't have anger. I can't take action that based on greed or lust. Like how can human reproduce if I just censor my every thought? If I behave in such a very nice way that creeping women out, then how can I get a girl, right? And that's why I've always been single, because I pursue what I believed in and pay the price for it. Well, if you believe in something really strongly, you can still attract women, but the fact that I totally believe in it it made me believe that God has someone best for me. So whenever I see some like sin, so-called like sinful action or behavior or unbiblical belief in a woman, I kind of like reject them. Now I pay the price. Now I get rejected all the time. I have to relearn everything. I learned that just praying to God, seeking for direction. Most Christians won't do it, but should you do it? It's not going to help you anyways. It's not going to, there is no sign, no signal from heaven to direct you except the coincidence or placebo effect, I find. For example, if how many legit miracles you have seen in your lifetime? Before the internet and the camera on the cell phone, in the church they always say God did a lot of miracle in the third world country. Yeah, when you think about it, the whatever happened in the third world, they don't have media, they don't have camera to record it. So it is very plausible, because you can't deny what you don't know. You can't deny what you can't prove. But now that technology is everywhere, literally, you can have cell phone, you can upload a video footage. If miracle just happened, it's a sure proof that there are literally no miracle in this world. But the Bible said, if we have faith, we can move mountain, and God is a God of miracle, God of healing. And yeah, and people will say in the end days, in the end times, God will once again do miracle. So they always move the goal post. They always say later, in the future, not now. There's God's will. And God surely didn't help me to not masturbate, for sure. Even the spiritual wishes that I made to God, that I sincerely pray to God to help me not sin, quote unquote sinned, fell. So it also makes me very docile. If I channel all those intensity I had when I was younger into achievement, like reading books from people like Donald Trump, Warren Buffett, I still do. I still did it. But then if I put double down, right? If I double down, focus all my effort on real people, real life, real achievement, who knows how far I could go, right? And I also find out that a lot of my problems are nutritional and sleep related. Like I have sleep apnea, so I never had enough focus, and I also had depressions and very ADD, couldn't focus. And I now learned that it is a scientific problem. It's a biological problem. It's not something that, it's not about sinning. It's not about not doing something that offended God. God will not help you with any biological problem except for whatever you can overcome on your own with hypnosis, placebo effect, which is very powerful according to my research. And if you like me, if you were praying for direction all the time, then you are relying on feeling and seeing pattern where there is none, to find out how to direct your direction. And I feel like I wasted quite a lot of time on that. No, if we need to think very logically, if not this, then it has to be something else. Don't keep digging if you find that it is a dead end. So it's like religion really have no predictability. It doesn't help you predict what will happen tomorrow, but science, human experience, knowledge can help you foresee the future and see how things go down. But religion, it can. All this prophecy that I've heard from the church are misleading, or is too general. When you think about it, when I question people, now that I think about it, I could see deliberate attempt to hide the truth. But they were a religious leader. Back then, I always thought they had our interest in mind, if not the best interest. I thought they were sincere in believing God. But if they did, then how come this glaring inconsistency in the Bible, they never address it, but they just talk it away? I did that mistake too. I made that mistake before. No, if I didn't count on God, I would have looked for somewhere else to explain my problems, my health. I would see it as a health problem instead of spiritual problem. And now I find out recently that I had sleep apnea, I probably have ADHD and depression. And the problem is also nutritional. So I study how to eat better consistently, like regularly. I now eat quinoa, eat organic, learn how to cook chicken bone broth to get all the nutrition from marrow bones. And it helped me. I become much more focused and productive when I eat better and better. And I also have a machine that helped me sleep. So these are the mistakes I have made. So hopefully by sharing it, other people won't repeat my mistake. And so am I done with mistake? I'm going to interview people and talk about their lifestyle, their love life. They are not going to be people who famous necessarily, but they will be people who are real. You know, I know a friend who are running a harem. He had several friends. You know, he had threesome. He had with those friends, and he sleep with them. Okay, like by turn, and I find that amusing. This generation, everybody is many people are in open relationships with. But that also means that a lot of guys are not getting any relationship with women, including me, because there are only like a small portion of guy having a hookup relationship or in some sort of relationships with 80% of the women. And what will happen Well, there's a very big gap in terms of lifestyle and happiness, quality of life. Some people just give up and become living in basement, playing video games. But most of the comedian I know, no matter how funny or unfunny they are, they always have some sort of girlfriend, a friend with benefit. I'm just saying it's a brutal world for those who try to live a traditional marriage life. By the way, the marriage law is biased against men anyways. So for a man to find happiness these days, woman, if you are listening to this, hope you can sympathize with us. Men are less happy according to study than women. We have shorter lifespan, and women's mating strategies are different than men's. I always had difficulty understanding what the real difference is, but now I do. Now I understand much more. For women, they just have to be pretty and healthy in terms of dating. Then they do get a lot of numbers, get a lot of pursuers, suitor, right, per se. But for guys, it's always a long list: finance, look, health, swagger, humor, sensitive but not too sensitive, behave like an alpha, understand female nature, all this, a whole long list. And that's why there are PUA, like pick up community, a bunch of guys trying to improve themselves, because think about it, they had no one, they have no love. All my life, for example, I had no love. So if I spend my younger years on learning how to achieve, like reading solid books, not religious books, and trying to be happy, then today I will have both achievement and happiness. You always get what you want. What I used to want is truth, and I get the truth, believe me or not. But I think the truth is there is either no God, or God doesn't care enough to communicate with us in an honest and direct manner. If you try to live by any religious dogma, it's not going to be congruent with our finding from science, from our more objective reality. The reality is very complicated. No single holy or religious book can tell you how to live. No one, nothing. I always find loopholes and problems with those religious beliefs. Maybe we can find a new one. I imagine one day maybe forming a commune with like-minded people. Maybe we build a village structure so that once again we can hang out with about 100 to 150 people and don't get over socialized. Modern living create a lot of lonely people, narcissistic people, sociopathical people, right? We don't really stay loyal with friends, and we are just drifting. This generation and the next generation, people are just drifting. There are no loyalty to relationship. But which is good and bad? I think a lot of people, by the time they hit 30, 40, they will lose big. They will lose big. Men, when they get divorced, most of them, a lot of them lost their kids and their money, their house. Women by the age of 30, if they still haven't found the one yet, they hit the wall, they lose big too. And a lot of them have personal debt. Imagine if you have no child in debt and no man to want you. Imagine if you're a man, you lose your kids, you lose your saving, your house to divorce. A lot of people will lose big. It's coming soon and it's gonna be ugly. People. So I'm going to read books and update you with my pickup journey. What I'm saying, I'm not saying I'm a player. I'm trying to say, if you are like me, have an accent, you are stuck in North America and girls don't like you, most of your life you were not loved, you were abused, what can you do? What do you do? And you find that the previous belief that you had, all your value and your belief were not right, not accurate, and you were blown out of your mind by the internet. Not just in, like, every generation there are something that's create a big change, and like big, it's like a mind-blowing change to that generation, like the invention of cars, airplane, which led to the Second World War, a war of gigantic proportion. Back then, a lot of people were illiterate, and they somehow get dragged into this war. They don't even know this is a war. This was a war of ideology. And then after that, there were inflation in the United States. United States become a superpower, and people who missed the boat, who didn't end up in United States, were in the wrong place. Think about it. Back then, everywhere, China, Japan, Taiwan, Philippines, nowhere were decent, were good. Like, it was a war-torn world back then. If you were in the United States, it was the best place you could be. And Russia, there back then, you become Soviet Union, right? And people were living in hell. So I studied history, and I learned that every 10 years there were big change. And now we have the internet. The last generation had so much to learn, and for me, I lived through both generations, from no internet to have internet. I learned about nutrition, I learned about sleep. I learned that Christianity were through the internet. I learned there were no miracle. I could explain those miracle healing that I saw on TV before, and there was so many trickery to it. Without internet, I wouldn't have known. And what else? There were so many changes. I have to read books, right? And I'm going to share with you the books that I've read. And now we have social media like Facebook, Google+, Twitter. And there were self-driving cars. Soon we might invent immortality. And the oil might run out. The production is decreasing every year. So we cannot keep up with the expanding demand of oil, with gasoline. So what's going to happen next? But things always change. Imagine if you were born 200 years ago. They invented train, steam machine, the industrial age, and then there were all kinds of things happening. If you are a man at that age, most of you would not have kept up. Most of you would have been left behind by the world. And this generation is not as brutal comparing with the past. At least we were mostly literate. Most of us have internet, and we can keep up, and we can go to bookstore and learn what successful people have to teach us. Yeah. And so I'm going to post all my pickup footage. I'm going to show you how I felt, maybe some analysis. Mainly I'm a comedian, so I'm going to show you all my skits and comedy on my YouTube channel. And someone recently just told me to be mean with girls, but not too mean. Yeah, I think about it, I've always been nice and funny with women, and what they taught is that women also need different type of emotion. You need to simulate drama with women. You need to playfully tease them. You can't just all be positive and put her on the pedestal, because that's too romantic, too creepy and unreal, right? And also boring and predictable. And I try to go out every now and then, maybe consistently, to talk to girls on the street, especially summer is here. You got to watch the season, because by winter here in Canada it's dark and sickening, and I couldn't live with that anymore. I'll probably move down south. Move down south and learn different language like Spanish, Italian and French. Continue to upgrade myself, and I will probably not commit to a woman, because now that I have seen them, I can see how women this day and age were not into nourishing their men. I don't find a woman who helped me when I'm down. I have been down for a very long time, sick, down and under, like it lived under my potential. I have a prestigious degree from university. I have a lot of talent and many things, but I'm on my own. I'm on my own to struggle, dealing with my racism, dealing with loneliness, sexism, ageism here in Canada. Who is going to support me? Who is going to help me with my abusive childhood, right? It's me. Who is going to help me with my career? Me. In this generation, women were not like from the past generation. In the past, they assist the man, they help, they were partner. That's why the court would dictate that half the assets of men, like whatever men earn during the marriage, they have to give half to their woman when they divorced. And it used to make sense. But now women, a lot of them just marry a rich man and then divorce and get their assets. So we are disappointed. We find out we were delusional with women. And we have to acknowledge the fact that when you are down in general and this time and age, women don't help you when you are down. All this potential, if you are just being buried, if you have your dream, if you have your goal, you have to reach it. And women are waiting for natural selection to take place to see if you can survive. If you succeed, then a lot of women will want to date you, have sex with you, hook up with you. And for about 80% of the guys who are still struggling, or maybe most people don't even struggle, they were just lazy and give up, and not aware, they were blissfully unaware of passing time. That's why most generation men die in war, men get left behind, men have a shorter lifespan. We got to read more, man, my fellow brother. We got to understand our time and navigate. We got to navigate, we got to teach each other. We got to help ourselves. If women don't want to help us anymore, they don't even want to date. They don't want to date down, people. So this is the reality. We got to invent more shit. We got to cultivate our talent, develop ourselves. We can't fix it. The dating scene is brutal, and we are a selfish generation. This is the fact. No, I've talked to so many girls in the past 2 years. It was brutal, shallow. The woman they will sleep around even with the bum, or as long as they are, let's say, white people. It's very predominant, it's very common. As long as you are white, a white guy, no matter whether you are bum or not, you get some girl. But if you were an immigrant, let's say, it has to be extra hard. Unless you are an immigrant from England, Australia, right? Otherwise, you have a very difficult time. You have to be exceptional. You have to be 16 out of 10 to get someone, maybe 7 out of 10 in Canada. Women are that demanding, narcissistic even. But what can we do, right? As a comedian, I make people laugh a lot. I demonstrate my talent, but it's still not enough. I have a prestigious degree from university, still not enough. I'm funny in person, not enough. I'm tall, not bad looking, not enough. So long as I have some certain defect, like my tooth, my English, even if my accent or something like that, or the fact that I have never been in relationships, everything, everything stand against me, right? They judge everything. So I have no choice but to read and grow and do more pickup video for you guys to watch. Now, behind my every jokes that I made, every YouTube video that I made is sincerity. I sincerely want to say something, to express something. Well, check out my link to my Facebook, my YouTube, and my new ebook. I wrote a joke book for my stage comedy. It's called So I've Been Single for my whole life. So signing out.